Ooh, that's a
It's a Cabbage Patch.
that's a Cabbage Patch move. I heard that this is a Cabbage Patch move. Is that what you're playing? Oh, okay.
I can't do the Running Man when I'm sitting down, so.
Okay, Cabbage Patch it is. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Noon on Tuesday. This is a very fun day because it is the eve of our 14th anniversary of Venissimo Cheese. What? Can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
This here, my guest today is Robbie G, our most aged, may I say aged?
Yeah.
Monger?
Well,
because,
like
we're to the cheese world.
Like a fine cheese.
Like a fine cheese.
Like a fine wine. I get better with age.
Exactly.
We all do.
All better with age. So Venissimo's 10. Robbie G, 14. You are 10 almost.
I'll be 10
You're
in
approaching
May.
10.
Yeah.
Phew, getting to be a big boy.
That's scary. Time does fly. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's so
Wow.
crazy, right? Back,
It is.
Yeah, back in 2004. So we opened January 17th, 2004. First Venissimo, Mission Hills. Big song of that year was Hey Ya. Remember that? Outcast?
Yes.
Hey
Andre 3000,
Ya.
yes.
Yeah, that was the song.
Crazy outfits.
Crazy outfits. Finding Nemo was a big movie at the theaters.
Yes.
Remember Finding Nemo?
Do you remember when we found Mimo? The cheesemaker Mimo?
Mimo the cheesemaker.
Yes.
Finding Mimo. That's what we're going to have to do,
We'll
like
have
a
to tell
class
that
or
story
something.
sometime.
Finding Mimo. Yes, good one. And then classic quote of the year that I remembered was Jessica Simpson. Where do buffalo wings come from? Chicken or buffalo? I thought that was a good one.
That's like mozzarella di bufala.
Yes.
Is it buffalo milk or are they from Buffalo, New York? That's the question.
That's the question you get.
Is that when Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey or Lachey?
Yes.
I don't know how you say his name. They had
Exactly.
the reality show.
I think
on
so.
E! Or something.
Right? Isn't that crazy? That was
I remember
14
that.
years ago.
Wow.
14 years
Seems like
ago.
only yesterday. Such fond memories.
It does seem like
Jessica
yesterday.
Simpson.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 14 years ago, Rob, was crazy. We had just moved here to San Diego and thought, I'm going to open a cheese shop, right? So I was going through I've got this whole like category of binders of just like a scrapbook of just everything. So I'm going through and looking at just like the very first of everything. And first I go to our business plan, dated March 11th, 2003. So that's when I really took pen to paper, keyboard to whatever you want to call it, to write the business
10
plan.
months until
Yeah,
opening
before
doors. Okay.
anything opened, right? Yeah, so 10 months. And I remember my slogan back then, I thought, this is it, was Venissimo, the best damn cheese on the planet.
I've never
Remember
heard that.
You remember
No.
that? Oh my God, yeah, that was it. And in fact, our first web page is a riot. Like if you look at it, I mean, websites were not fancy back then anyway,
Yeah.
but the first website, the page that I found shows, you can see it right here, Venissimo Cheese, the best damn cheese on the planet.
I don't remember,
You don't remember that
at all.
It lasted for a few years until one of our neighbor customers came in and was kind of offended by the word damn.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Isn't that funny?
That is.
So then we were just like all the best cheese from all over the world.
That was a slogan. A lot of things were called the best damn something show or the best damn
Yes,
this or
that's
that.
right. It kind of that era, and being hip with the times,
Right.
trying to do that. But I remember Rob, so writing that plan, put up that web page, right? That the cheese shop is coming. I'm going to mention a lot of people today because this is a team effort of a lot of people like
drop some
supporting and
names.
everything. But I totally remember moving here to San Diego. And thinking, we want to open this shop. We knew we wanted to open it somewhere downtown. But to do some research and to kind of get an idea of, how much cheese could we possibly sell, I would drive up to Del Mar, because remember Aniata Cheese was open in the Del Mar Flower Hill Center. And I used to sit out there in front of their shop, and I don't even know if Bob and Martina know this, and just count. I would have a little
Creepy.
tabs. Creepy. I was a cheese stalker. I would sit out there and just like make marks of how many people went in. I remember doing it like on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thinking, well, if they can get business on a Tuesday, maybe we could do all right.
Like that crazy lady sitting out
She's
there
sitting
again.
out there again. Who is she? And and I would just sit out there and watch. And Rob people would come in, and I remember I was so impressed because I would see the guys in their chef coats, and the chefs were going in. And I'm like, ooh, this is really cool. This is official,
big time.
right? Big time. The chefs are coming in. So that was really cool. That was really good.
Super cool.
So find the space. Blah blah blah. We're gonna get the shop. I don't even know if you know this too. The day before we opened is when our first batch of cheeses arrived, right? We didn't even have deli cases. I mean, that afternoon we had one case. We were still waiting on the second one on a Friday afternoon. We were supposed to open on Saturday.
Yeah. And how many cheeses did you have to start?
I think it was 50.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
So where'd you put them? You just had the one case
We had
set up and you stuffed them all in?
One case stuffed them all in. When I say stuffed, it was not stuffed. We were like laying them out as their long ways so that they would take up as much space in that case as they could.
Cut it in like 4 pieces and put them out horizontally.
And stretch them out.
It's like, stretch it out.
Yeah, it was horrific. You look back then and, how I wish we had the iPhones and stuff then, because I don't have a ton of pictures of it.
It's funny that you don't have a lot of pictures of that.
Not a lot of pictures, and that's a really sad thing. Note to anyone, opening businesses now, take lots of pictures because you'll just like it 14 years later. But yeah, stretched out all the cheeses, Rob. People were coming in and helping us unload, but everything was new, because I hadn't even seen all these wheels whole when they came, It was crazy, crazy, crazy to get in there.
And did you know what you were doing as far as cutting open the cheeses? Had you looked at some
only
diagrams of how they're supposed to be cut and things like that?
That's it. Just learning from reading, but not from doing.
Right.
So then we just had to kind of do.
Yeah. One of my favorite things you always say is, get it started, then figure it out.
Then get it right. Yeah, it's right. True, Rob. Yeah, it's something to always remember.
Jump in there,
Jump in there and then figure it out. And figure it out, we sort of did. Those first days.
We're still figuring it out.
We're still figuring it out. Still tweaking. Still tweaking. But yeah, unload the cheeses. Then we knew which 50, say we had that night. I remember going with my husband, Roger. Then that night, it was midnight, to a Kinko's copy center. Remember, there was Kinko's. I think it's now FedEx. I don't know, FedEx Kinko's. Went to the copy center at midnight with our printed out, cheese description tags. And had to get them laminated and cut. So this is because we didn't even know which 50 cheeses we were going to get that first week. Midnight, cutting out the little tags. Get home, and of course you don't sleep. You're just nervous. Is anybody going to come? So excited, etc. Get to the shop the next morning, and try to turn on, and we're worried that there's crickets. You're not saying that this is cricket conversation.
We get
you
it.
Crickets.
We get the hint.
Show up that morning and credit card machine's not working, right?
Of course
it's not, right? I remember our computer guy sitting there with us trying to get it working. Oh my God, yeah. It was super stressed. And then, 10 o'clock, open the door. Will anybody come? And people came.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
It makes me think of throwing a party and worrying that nobody's going to show up.
That no one's going to show to your party. Yeah, what if you
that's
sat there? It'd be really sad.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
crazy.
So was there somebody waiting outside the door at 10 when you opened that had seen that a cheese shop was coming in the...
No, I remember a lot. Shout out, Mission Hills. Thank you, Mission Hills. I just remember so many people would walk by as we were, building the space because, it's a glass corner window, so it's kind of like a little fishbowl.
Right.
And people would walk by, peek in. What are you doing? What's going to be cheese shop? That was the biggest thing then. It was like, cheese shop?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You can't just sell cheese.
Just cheese?
Yeah, that was completely it.
You mean sandwiches?
Just cheese? What? We can't do just cheese. But yeah, then they came in. I don't remember like a line out the door or anyone knocking right at 10.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because I think the credit card machine started working right at 10.
Of course.
But then people did come that day, and I remember it was me, Roger, and then 2 other gals.
Just 2 friends of yours?
Yeah.
Or?
No. Two little
to
cheesemongers.
Okay.
Our first initial cheesemongers are there helping out, and of course. Everybody's learning about the cheese. And luckily, even then, though, a lot of people didn't have questions because nobody really knew about cheese either. Neither did we. We knew a little bit, but we weren't by no means the overall experts at that point.
I imagine people are just coming in and just like introducing themselves.
Yeah.
And just saying, hey, welcome to the neighborhood.
Exactly.
And good luck,
check out. Yeah. And I still have notes, from those first days of people like, good luck.
Yeah.
It's just really, really cool.
And then aren't the transactions, I mean, I know we switched to POS recently, but they were numbered, right? So you can see the first.
Yes.
The first, or the customers who were the first ones that were put into
Absolutely.
the system.
And some of them still coming today. I'm going to just say right now, if you're listening, Ken, you know who you are. You know Ken too, Rob. He goes way back.
Ken who comes every Saturday in Mission Hills, who I miss tremendously. Yeah.
Right, who I got to see at Christmas. And yay, Ken. There's some people that have come
Ken.
From the beginning.
Not sure if Ken listened to the podcast, but...
Yeah, but he should. And thank you. There's one right there. Yeah, so a lot of well-wishers and a lot of people coming in. At that point, we didn't have like prices that day on the tags because we still weren't even sure, how we were going to do it. So people would ask, we'd be like, "Oh, let me check the list."
How much did you got?
It was like, I got that's pretty much it. In fact, somebody left a note. This was about 2 weeks later. They started already getting addicted to cheese. Came in and he had his a wad of cash and a little sticky note that said cheese money attached. And he goes, "This is how I save my cheese money." Yeah, so I kept the note because that was cheese money, just cash. Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. So that was really great. Exciting times. But there's one lady that came in, and I will completely remember this, and I remember her name too, Linda Trout.
Okay.
And she was the first huge purchaser of cheese. And back then, our receipts had a ton of information on it, the way it was designed.
Looked like a Russian novel.
It did, right? Like a scroll. And have a picture of her holding a receipt. It's taller than she is because she bought lots of just little pieces to try, and just wanted to learn all about the cheeses. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it's so cool watching. I remember, well, when I started, it was you guys, and you were still around every day.
Yeah.
There was a few cheesemongers, maybe 3 people worked there. Del Mar had just become a Venissimo.
Yeah. Okay. It was when you came.
Yeah, it was like around that time. But still, we were closed on Sundays.
Yes, because I remember people, "You should be open." And I'm like, "Well, then you should work for me because I need a day off."
Yeah, we were just getting to that point. And shortly after, maybe in the first year I was there, we opened on Sundays.
Okay.
But I remember your friends would come in and help out here and there once in a
Yeah,
while.
right?
And Roger would work on the weekends.
Roger would work. Yeah, I remember Robin would come in. And Jerry and Sally came in.
Jerry, who I just saw a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Lady.
Isn't that Molly?
Yeah.
All of them just come in and just help
Molly
out
and
as
Sarah.
needed. Yep.
Yep. So
Crazy,
much fun.
right?
And then, of course, Gert would work during the holidays.
Yep.
Gert would the cheese matriarch. She would wrap cheese on the side.
Exactly. Anything that needed to be done. Yeah. Exactly.
So much fun.
Oh my God. And that first year, you're just learning and building things up. I remember we hadn't quite figured it out. You can really cut everything with a cheese wire, which is the best way to cut hard cheeses, soft cheeses, whatever. But back then, we thought you had to have one of those big dual handle cutters.
They're like this long.
Yeah, exactly. And those things could lop somebody's head off. They look medieval, right?
It looks like a guillotine.
Yeah, a guillotine. Well, wouldn't you know, some guy, were you here for, no, this was way before you.
Told me
no, this was when we first opened. He walks by the shop in a long overcoat. And opens his overcoat, and he has one of these long double-handed cheese knives in his coat, and he was willing to sell it for $10. So I bought it.
What? I mean, where did this guy come from?
I have no idea. But I still have that knife. I do.
Good. No, I see that knife, and I don't know. Do you know what store it's at now?
I don't know where it's sitting now.
It's
It's floated around because
it used to be at Mission Hills all the time.
Yeah. That's going into the museum.
Yeah, we used to use that and sort of.
Oh, it's scary. We have a picture of Sarah Muffin. Remember Sarah?
Yes.
Using that nasty. That is a scary, spooky thing. But look, she had put all her might to try to cut that wheel of Parmigiano, right?
Absolutely.
With that silly knife. Oh
so
my
that
gosh,
looks
so
like
scary.
The really old Mission Hills setup there in the picture too.
Oh, we had nothing. Nothing. Again, to show how much nothing we had, I wish I could demonstrate. No crackers. I think the first time we opened, we had like a few pieces of bread. And even the bread was like at the other end of the store. So if somebody wanted bread, you had to walk across the store, go get it, and then bring it back. It was just so random,
It
right?
took a couple of years to figure out to put the bread by the cash register.
To put the bread by the cash register. And can we just say about bread? I know I've told you this story before, but bread, when we first opened, I could only sell maybe 2-3 baguettes a day.
Yeah.
And so I remember calling Bread and C because Bread and C is delicious and saying, "Oh, tell me about, I'd like to order bread." And they're like, "Oh, well, we have a $20 minimum for delivery." And I was like, "Oh, I can't afford to order that much bread every day." I remember getting a call back from Charles himself, owner, founder, bread maker extraordinaire. After that and said, "You know what, Gina? I don't care if you order 1 baguette. We're going to deliver to you."
Oh,
is that the coolest thing ever?
Cool, yeah.
Yes,
Thank
Bread
you,
and
Charles.
C. Oh my God, that was like, that's when I really knew how important it is to help other people and how cool it is when businesses help each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Needless to say, we sell a lot more than 2 baguettes a day now. Yeah, but it was really cool. So Bread and C.
With
Cheers.
businesses and within the business world, in the food business, the service, everybody is sort of trying to elevate each other. And I think everybody who's interested in the San Diego food scene was just super excited that a cheese shop came to town. I mean, we had, of course, Aniata in Del Mar, but
but not in downtown San Diego.
Downtown San Diego, Mission Hills, and
crazy.
And
and
so I feel like everybody was just on board and trying to. I learned about Venissimo through a good friend of mine, Billy Joyce, Billy Butter Joyce.
Go Billy.
He's had a wholesale account with Venissimo since before I worked there, Surfside Cuisine, and I went through a period where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was working in a bookstore and then working with Billy in catering, once or twice a week. And he would bring these big platters to these catering events, and they would have the old tags.
Oh my gosh, with the pins.
Yes. So it was like the paper, the little paper printed out, and the pins were like stuck into the cheese.
Yes, exactly.
And then with the name and
with the name, we had to print all those little tags.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
but I thought it looked so cool.
Yeah.
So there'd be these big, 2-pound chunks of cheese blues crumbling all over, and
oh, nice,
and these rustic-looking cheddars and whatnot, and with the little pins in there. And I remember I would just look at them, and where do these cheeses come from? That's not a grocery store setup. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so he told me about Venissimo, and I learned and got to taste some of the cheeses, and then I was riding my bike in Mission Hills one day.
Yeah.
And I just came across the shop.
That's crazy.
And I recognized the name, and I remember they were closed.
Okay.
You weren't there, but I knocked on the door and filled out an application. And that's how it all started. But it was all from making that connection from seeing him at the catering.
Oh, see, that's super cool. Crazy,
super
right?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The restaurants really helped out early on because I think they were clamoring too for that. The whole food industry started exploding then. Food Network. All that jazz.
That's why the timing was perfect. It was just a perfect storm of everything coming together.
Yeah.
I remember being really intimidated when I started working because the chefs were coming in and they would be asking
questions.
and,
yes.
But that's what fueled my or sparked me to learn more and my interest in learning more.
Yeah.
And then even when I got into the teaching and the giving presentations, I learned more because of the questions that people gave me. I wanted to be prepared and be ready. And we would have these French chefs come in, and they want to feel the cheese and look at it, and
like, what does
is
that
it
mean?
ripe? I don't even know what you're asking me right now, but it's good, I promise.
Isn't that something? Super cool.
And I remember a lot of customers who still come in to this day, and I'll see them, I'll just bump into them around town or at any of the stores, because a lot of the Mission Hills customers will go to Liberty Station or show up at North Park here and there. And I'm all over the place, and I'll remember their very first time coming into one of the stores.
And like their cheese, right? That's your cheese.
Yeah. I'll know their cheese. I'll see people like in La Jolla, and I'll be like, Stilton, Camembert.
You're Eric Senegur.
Yeah.
You're
I know, and they love that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's
it's
how
so personal.
It is very personal.
Yeah.
I think that's how we're a little different.
Right. Oh, it's super, super, super fun that way, right?
Yeah.
I remember. Yes, chefs. Do you remember this, Victor? I don't know if you can see it up there, Robbie G.
I can see that.
This is the first one. I tried to find like an early Robbie
G.
I
bought this clip-on.
Your clip-on bun.
Clip-on man bun. Yeah.
This is the days before man bun. But you had the goatee thing going. I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Do you remember this? Is
Too
you're
much
stuffing
face.
blue cheese olives because we make some killer blue cheese olives. Yep, that's Mission Hills. But do you remember, were you still there when we would buy olives that you had to pull the pimenta, or whatever you call it, out of the olive before you stuffed it? That was the silliest, right? We would spend time pulling out the little pepper thing and then stuffing it with the blue instead of just getting some that weren't stuffed with the pepper. Yeah, things you learn as you go.
That was the thing. I remember back in the day it was helping customers, and then downtime was stuffing peppers, pepper goat bites, blue cheese olives.
Yeah,
and at that time, the sandwiches. I remember the sandwiches.
They're just starting, kind of.
Like $5, and
they were $5.
European style. We had grapes, pears, and apples to choose from.
Yep.
But we didn't have a grill or anything.
Nope.
It was basically baguette with a couple ounces of cheese.
Yeah.
So you could just pick a cheese, and we would just throw a Gouda onto a baguette, and it was so Euro style.
Yeah.
It's
our first sandwich.
That was a pretty good deal too.
Exactly.
What is lunch? We didn't make as many back then because we didn't really advertise. It was just kind of people.
We're needing a snack.
In,
yeah. Isn't that something? God.
We sell so many sandwiches nowadays.
Yeah, sandwiches, grilled ones, paninis. Yeah, it's just how things morph and change through time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need this and crackers, and suddenly, we should have crackers. One lady, I think this was the first message that came through email that I can recall back. February 2004. That's so happy. You have a charming shop. This is Pat, by the way.
We had email back then?
We had email. This was before, we actually did, apparently. But yeah, she had a magnificent sandwich. She goes, it would be really nice if you maybe carried some olives. We're like,
what an idea.
What a great
my
idea.
God.
Let's do olives. Yeah.
You're brilliant, Pat. Thank you.
Pat, yeah. It's funny how when little ideas would be like, oh, yeah, that would be really great as you go. And you just hear what people love and what excitement is. So, Pat, Thank you. We have lots of olives now.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you don't like to carry too much of anything other than cheese.
Yeah.
So I know you have your little rules of how many things to carry. Yeah.
Yes.
Olives and crackers,
jams, exactly. Then a little bit of chocolates because we know that the sweet holiday things, exactly. But now the charcuterie, of course, that's right. Big.
It is big. People love that.
Yeah, it's cured. They go together so perfectly, right? But yeah, didn't have any of that. 2004, I'll tell you that. Yeah,
we've had lots of little trinkets and spreaders, boards. Cheese erasers.
Exactly. Yes, they still stay cheesy. We still have a few little cheesy things. But then we've also done some blunders, kind of things along the way. Oh my God, I remember back then if the credit card system went down, I'd have to manually, key in numbers.
We had the thing shift.
What do they call that? A knuckle something?
The crank thing?
Knuckle
buster?
Knuckle buster, yeah, I don't know. But that you could really just hurt yourself with. And we had that. And oh my gosh, I remember one year, and this was right around Christmas time. Credit card system went down, so we had to do all that manual stuff. So that night, and back then there was no remote access and stuff. Like if you had to do work at the shop, it was after hours and you're at the shop. Keying stuff in. Must have been tired because this lady's bill was like $75, and I'm keying it in, whatever. And about a week later, I get a call from the lady. I wish I'd remember her name because she was very nice. She goes, my husband was really concerned when he got my Nordstrom's bill, and it was for $7,500. Because I had forgot to key in the period. Yeah. My God, I thought she was going to... somebody just could have yelled and just ripped me a new one.
I could spend it on cheese, I think.
Yeah, I think I could spend it on cheese. Not
she was nice
unacceptable, but she was so nice about it because she said, because this was on my Nordstrom's card, so I got 7,500 points. So she's kind of happy for
I got a free flight out of it. But...
Exactly. But, that was a major gaffe.
To eat cheese in Paris because of that.
Because of that. So do it anytime is what she said. Yeah. Oh, my God, that was crazy. Oh, and then, so many highs. I mean, that one was, again, such a blunder, but people have been very kind when we've blundered. But then, oh my God, I remember Rob, first year, you don't know, you're trying to gauge how much cheese do you need and whatever. Live through the holidays, and we learn about the holidays. And I remember, we're selling out of a lot of things, which happens at the holidays, right? So, we live through Christmas and, the day after and everything, I'm just so happy. Yeah. But the day after Christmas, I'm going to tell you right now, is pretty much the worst day to come visit a cheese shop because we're out of everything.
Empty.
Yeah, and typically a delivery is not coming till maybe a couple days later, so we have nothing. I remember riding the high of the first Christmas, getting into the shop, and somebody comes in and wants a cheese, of course, that we're out of. Right. And the comment was, well, you're the owner. You should know how much you should carry and whatever. I remember going home. I was crying that day. I did cry. Aww. I went home like, I should know that. Why didn't I know that? And I should have had more of this and whatever. You just because you're just trying so hard, right? It makes you sad. But talked her through it. I'm happy to say she still comes to the shop.
That's awesome. I talk a lot of times about people will ask for specific cheeses, and there's tens of thousands of cheeses out there.
Yes, which
we only carry. Well, back then you carried 50 or so.
50.
I mean, we only have 100 and something at each shop.
Yeah,
we don't have most cheeses out there.
We can't have 1,000 of all times. Yeah, it exists so good, but we try. Yeah,
we do try.
How we learn. What else? Oh, restaurants. Back to that. Yeah. I do have to give another one to Cafe Chloe and Katie Grebo. She was like the first, came into the shop. Remember? Yeah.
Katie used to keep a list.
Yes.
And she would be like, I just hit 400 cheeses that I carried from you guys. Because then when we went she lived over near Mission Hills. And then when we moved we had the shop across the street from Cafe Chloe for a few years. And she would come in, and I remember she would try to get 5 new cheeses every time. And it was cool, too, because you knew that their menu was going to be totally updated and different every week, too. Still,
I think one of the best cheese plates in town.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's stunning. It's delicious. Thank you, Cafe Chloe, for riding with us, I got to say, Andrew Spurgeon, too. We've had some, vocal supportive individuals too and chefs. Yes. I found a message from him. It was dated 2004. So that was 14 years ago, Andrew, if you're out there, thank you. Just sharing that information, they all had a passion. Maybe they'd been in France before, whatever, and loved the cheese. And then we're so happy that we were there, and we were so happy that they were there. Again, it all came together, that they share and still support, Thank you is all we have to say about that, right? Crazy. Back to the receipts, another blunder that I was just thinking of was, okay, back, on a receipt that's only 2 inches wide, you can only have so many characters on a line. And, we would give some pairing suggestions. Try this one with fruit jam. Try this one with this. One of the cheeses we had said, it was supposed to say, this is great with crackers, but there was only enough space on it to say it was great with crack.
Oh, boy.
And it was good, right? And
so I tried it with crack.
And it was, and what do we think? Was it a good pairing? Perfect pairing? Fantastic. Do you have a class like that on the AOC schedule?
Yeah. Whiskey.
No crack. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, oh my God, that was funny. Things that sometimes you don't catch. And this was actually Sarah Muffin. I remember caught that one. Our original cheesemonger manager caught that. But we've had a couple other little interesting things said on our receipts.
Most of the feedback has always been overwhelmingly positive from customers and stuff. And I know for a lot of them, the first time that they come in, I'm not in the stores as much. I miss it, but I get to work in the stores a lot during the holidays. And I'll come around the counter and I'll go through and give them a whole kind of breakdown of the case. And and I can tell if they're nervous or scared or intimidated.
Have they done this before?
No, don't worry. There's no right or wrong. This is meant to be fun. Yeah, there's no best. There's no just tell me. All you got to know is what you like. Yeah. What tastes good. So here, let's taste.
Yeah.
And just kind of break it down for them. And take that fear out of it.
Exactly. And isn't it interesting? There are still people that it's new to, that whole artisan cheese world, that there are so different varieties. It's fun to teach them new.
Yeah.
What about the little kids that were teeny back then, 14 years ago?
Yeah.
Now we're grown up and some have kids of their own.
I know. That is weird. That's
super weird.
Because some of the kids, in fact, there's another name drop, Nancy Warwick.
Nancy, yeah.
Nancy, who's a good
longest time customer. Gave me a cheese ornament that I still hang on my tree and think for.
Nancy came in. I started helping her as a customer.
Yeah.
And I actually started working for her part-time at the bookstore.
Was that after you had started at Venissimo? You'd met? Okay.
Yeah. And actually, what happened is kind of interesting. She used to come in with her son who loved goat cheeses.
Yeah.
Her son is now in college.
Okay.
I still think of him as a little kid. Yeah, a little Zachary.
Yes.
And he's now he now comes in and he's looking when he comes to visit San Diego. He's up in Berkeley. He'll come and he'll get cheeses to pair with his beer. I'm like, you're not old enough to drink.
Can't drink
you're
beer.
A little kid. What's going on?
No beer for you.
But
yeah.
Speaking of the growth of Venissimo, when I started, I was also working part-time at Barnes & Noble because I needed the health insurance from Barnes & Noble.
Interesting.
And then as Venissimo grew, you guys were able to offer some of that stuff. And so then I was able to come full-time.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting to see how it's grown as a business as well behind the scenes.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Started the little shop, now it's growing, and you two grow with it and have all the education and everything with it, and
things I'm sure you never thought about when you opened on that.
Never thought of stitch. Even wholesale back then was like, do we do wholesale? Yes, of course we do.
Yeah, wholesale. We got to figure out wholesale.
How do we do wholesale? Yeah,
Google
sandwiches. Of course, sandwiches are. Yeah. We'll do sandwiches. Yeah,
the Tiffany's of cheese, right?
Yeah. We try. Yeah, that's so interesting. I love it. And then spreading the word about, just collaborating with people. So specialty produce is one. I mean, again, and Bob, I'm going to give a shout out to Bob Harrington here. Same thing happened there. It's like, I would love to get grapes, but I can't afford to get more than a bag of grapes. Like, I don't care. I'll deliver you 1 bag of grapes. Are you kidding me? Yay, specialty. Doing that for us back then. So how cool is that? And then after that, specialty collaborated with Catalina Offshore. And Tommy Gomes, and they do this like collaboration kitchen, and then they brought us in just like a family member straight away, still to this day supporting us, all together, that we're all, I guess, offering good stuff, and then they wanting to tie it all together. They're masters at that, Specialty and Catalina,
Everything I've ever, Tommy, the Harringtons, Specialty, everything has been, yes, we'll figure it out. Yes.
That's a good lesson.
I love that. I love working with companies that they say yes.
Yes.
And then you figure it out.
And then figure it out. Yeah, exactly. And then working together.
Doers.
It's so cool. And think of where that grows, Started with a bag of grapes, and now have you seen like the flowers and stuff we get from Specialty to put on the trays and everything? Yeah. It's come a long way, right?
Flowers,
come a long way, baby.
Funky,
it's
crazy,
super
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then what about our first review and everything back then, there was something called Chowhound, and I think that's still out there. But Chowhound was kind of pre-Yelp and everything. Yeah. Chowhound is where firstly kind of the word got out that way, you know, word of mouth about the shop. But then things like Edwin and the eating and drinking in San Diego, you know, those are now, you know, big and popular. And thanks to Edwin, you know, sharing it with other people that love food gets the word out. And we have to thank them. You know, I think it's just everybody anyone that will eat cheese and share our crazy love of this fermented curd.
Speaking of Edwin, I remember when he would come in Mission Hills as a customer, and I got to know him that way. And I had no idea he was going to start eating and drinking in San Diego.
You remember him from then,
yeah. And we just remained friends since, and it's so cool to see what he's doing with that.
Yeah,
he's got like 10,000 people on there.
Oh, yeah, I think it's like whoa, but that's how many people want to learn about good food in town, right?
Yeah,
and there's so much to be had now, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Do you remember, Rob? We like to play jokes because, you know, we kind of keep it cheesy, right?
What? You guys play jokes? Is Roger ever involved with these jokes?
Oh, no, I don't know. He said, no. Trace, you remember?
Yes.
Before call waiting. That was one of the beauties before call waiting.
Yeah.
And caller ID, excuse me.
Are you the one where Roger calls me in Mission Hills one day at like 5? We close at 6. And he asked if his 10 cheese platters are ready for pickup, and I'm like scrambling.
We could hear papers like rustling. Like,
yeah. Hold on 1 second, sir. Are you sure it wasn't with another store? No, it was definitely Mission Hills. I called or said they'd be ready by 5. Okay, hold. What's your name? Oh, my last name is Sketto. First name, sir? Bo. Bo Sketto is the name of a cheese.
But that realization on your voice.
That sounds like Roger.
That's like The Simpsons when he would call and ask for, I don't know. That was it. Bo Sketto. But that's one of our best Rob stories. Or you still have a date with Heidi. You haven't gone out with Heidi.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So, one of your friends from Colorado was out to visit Heidi, who's a friend of your mom,
and about the same age as my mom.
Right, okay.
So slightly older than you.
Yeah, so to set the stage here a little bit, she's a little bit older than me. And she came in and she was very aggressively, I didn't know who she was, I'd never seen her before.
Oh, God.
Very aggressively hitting on me, wanting to know what I was doing after work tonight, not letting me get away with any excuses.
And remember, all the other girls in the shop were turned around like they weren't even going to, they were not helping you.
I mean, I was a tomato. I was bright red. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't hide because Mission Hills is wide open. There's nowhere to go. And finally, when I think I was about to give her my number, we were going to go out. We were probably going to get married.
Heidi, you should have held out for just one more.
Gina and Roger walk around the corner just laughing hysterically. I'm like, thank you. And Gina likes to prank call. You haven't done it in a while. But you have one voice. It's your Southern Belle voice.
Is it a good voice?
That's it right there.
Is that the one?
Like Gina, you do this every time. You're not fooling anybody. What are you thinking?
I'm going to try it again.
I remember my mom was a big prankster, and she used to, April Fool's was her favorite holiday, and she would call every April Fool's. And I'd be like, Mom, I know it's April. I know it's April Fool's. You're not gonna.
It's not gonna work.
She would just we would not give up.
Never worked. Not even a stitch.
I saw my brother posted something. So he knows all about that.
That this happens. It's good. You got to keep it cheesy, right? Keep it cheesy.
Lots of cheese jokes.
Cheese jokes and cheese names. You are the master of cheese names. Remember, we used to all have titles that I used to try to keep up and put everybody's on the website. I was the Baroness of Boschetto, Roger the Emperor of Apois. You have just you change your title. You're like Madonna. You just reinvent yourself.
Well, some of them wouldn't make sense. You'd have to really know a lot about cheese to get the puns. But Eddie Munster is one that everyone could follow. Munster. I think my first one was Mozzarella di Bufala Soldier.
Oh, was that one of your first? That was probably
yeah. And then there's been many more.
Yes,
and I think
it's really fun.
All of the business cards when you print more business cards, you always put a different.
I do have to put a title. Yes, well, because you keep changing it.
That's true. Yeah. Sherlock Holmes. There's Manchengo Unchained. There's been many cheese names.
It's good. It's real. It's good.
It is real.
Oh, I love it. Well, what else can we say? 14 years. It's from 50 cheeses to now we've had over 2,000. It's going to be, tomorrow is the actual date. January 17th is Venissimo's 14th birthday. We're going to have a cheese party in the fact that any cheese that you buy at the shop tomorrow is 14% off.
So
Yay!
cool.
It's pretty good.
That's
so
awesome.
stop by any of the shops tomorrow, cheese lovers out there. 14% off. Somebody asked, well, what's going to happen when you're 100 years old? I guess it's 100% off.
It's free.
If you let us stick around and support us till we're 100, 100% off that day. January 17th, what year would that be? 2014? Okay, add 100. 2114?
No. Yeah, 21. No, 21.
14. 04, sorry.
2104. We weren't math majors.
I'm not a math major, thank God. So anyway, everybody, 14% off tomorrow. Thanks for sticking with us for 14 fabulous years.
Thank you for keeping
visit.
me employed. I appreciate it.
And Rob really appreciated it. Me too. Everyone, have a good one. Talk to you next week.